There sat Diddy at the defense table trying to play it cool, but his lawyers? A mess. Whispers, huddles, panic leaking out their pores. Meanwhile, the prosecution stood there calm as ice with a flash drive that might as well have been TNT. The lead attorney stood and dropped the line that lit the room on fire. Your Honor, the prosecution submits new visual evidence, privately obtained security footage from March 28, 2016. The location? Mr. Combs' New York residence. Girl, the room didn't gasp immediately, it was holding its breath. But when the prosecutor added where the footage came from, boom! Metadata confirms it originated from a server maintained by That's Jay-Z's baby, his corporate branch. Suddenly, the courtroom exploded. Eyes bulged, mouths dropped. Jay-Z wasn't just another name anymore. He was tied to the evidence. Whether directly or through someone close to him, the implication was loud. Jay might have helped bring Diddy down, or at the very least, turned a blind eye. Either way, the game had changed. The judge asked if the footage was authenticated. It was. Forensically verified, security blueprint matched. The defense? They shot up screaming about privacy and unauthorized surveillance. But the judge? He waved it all away. If it's real and relevant, the jury has a right to see it. Period. And then the lights dimmed. What hit the screen next was straight out of a noir film. Grainy black and white timestamp footage showing Diddy's home in full party swing. Lavish. Opulent. But then, at the 23-minute mark, the energy flipped. There was Diddy, standing near the staircase, whispering to a young woman. Couldn't have been older than 20. He handed her off to a man who silently escorted her upstairs. No explanation, no hesitation, just 18 minutes later, she is back, alone. Makeup smeared, shaky, pale. She disappears down a hallway, clearly distressed. And she wasn't the only one. More women, same pattern. 3 others shown being pulled upstairs by different handlers, all of them unsure, all of them holding their bodies like shields. Diddy, always nearby, always in the frame, just before they disappeared. It wasn't violent, not in the footage, but baby, it was calculated. When the screen went black, the courtroom didn't erupt. It froze. The silence was louder than any scream. Even the judge leaned back, visibly shaken. Diddy didn't move. Didn't blink, just sat there like the weight of the truth had finally settled on his shoulders. And then, just when we thought we'd seen the worst, the prosecution called a new witness, surprised, a former member of Diddy's event staff, subpoena the night before. Her name, Kayla Foster. She walked in like she'd been carrying boulders for years, and the moment she opened her mouth, baby, you could feel the ground shift again. I remember that night, she said, voice trembling. We weren't allowed on the 2nd or 3rd floors, and if any guests tried to leave early, we were told to redirect them. Comfort them. What kind of comfort? Drinks, hugs, tissues if they cried, lies if they were angry, and Uber rides? Not unless security approved it. And guess who made the calls? Sean, Diddy. A juror covered her mouth. Kayla shared what she saw. One girl came back down crying, no phone, no ride, friend gone. Kayla tried to help but was told to back off. Her supervisor said it plainly, stay out of it or you're next. She didn't just witness what happened, she lived under its shadow, and when asked why she was speaking now, because the cameras finally saw what I couldn't say. No cross-examination. The defense couldn't touch her. They didn't dare. And honey, this was just day 1. The room was still wrapped in that funeral-like silence when the judge finally called a recess. But baby, no one moved. Not a soul. Even when the bailiff announced it twice, folks just sat there, glued, haunted. They weren't just watching a trial anymore. They were witnessing the collapse of a kingdom. And just when everyone thought they could catch their breath, court resumed like a fresh slap to the face. The prosecution walked in cool, collected, like they didn't need to push anymore, because at this point, the story was telling itself. But oh, they weren't done. Nope, they had one more trick up their sleeve. Your Honor, the prosecutor began, we're submitting audio evidence. That's right. Sound, not just shaky footage anymore, not blurry black and white. This was voices, emotions, truth with a heartbeat. The courtroom dimmed again. This time, no screen, just audio. At first, all you heard was the party, laughter, glasses clinking, music thumping like a heartbeat through the walls. But then, a shift. A nervous female voice whispered, I don't know where she went. Then a man. She's fine. Stay here. Then silence. And then, chilling close. Terrified. Another whisper. Don't go up there. Don't. Just trust me. That last voice stopped everyone cold. And then Kayla stood up again. No one called her. She asked to speak. The judge allowed it. She looked around, steady this time. That voice at the end, she said softly. That was me. A gasp rippled through the gallery. Kayla recounted how that girl, the one who vanished into the third floor, came back outside later, crying, barefoot, phone gone. All she said, I should have listened to you. After Kayla reported it, she was reassigned to the basement, her access revoked. She never worked another Diddy event again. And just like that, the courtroom wasn't just a courtroom anymore. It was a confession booth, a reckoning. But baby, buckle up, because next came Michelle Rivers, and she didn't just drop tea. She poured gasoline and lit a match. Michelle took the stand, calm and heavy, like she'd been holding this secret too long. She wasn't a guest, she was security, tech. She ran the cameras. And what she said? I monitored camera feeds, room activity, entry logs. I watched everything. She dropped the bomb. The footage from that infamous night, it didn't come from Diddy's main system. It came from a backup camera installed by a guest who was worried about personal safety. Who? Jay-Z. Dead. Silence. Michelle didn't say it with drama. She said it like fact. Jay had a secret feed tucked away. Only he, his bodyguard, and one tech knew about it. Guess who that tech was? Michelle. She said she was instructed to keep it off-grid, encrypted, secret. When asked why it's only coming out now, her answer was ice cold. Someone in Jay-Z's circle saw the Diddy trial and realized that footage might save someone's life. The defense exploded. Slanderous! Speculation! They screamed. But the judge, he wasn't having it. Overruled. Michelle continued. She saw girls go upstairs and come down quiet, changed, sometimes unconscious. She flagged a clip once and was told not to archive it. And then came the line that froze the room. I never saw him commit violence, but I saw a system, a structure, protocols to manage silence. Everyone sat breathless, not because of what they were told, but because of what they already knew and had never dared say. Michelle ended with this. This is the first time I feel like I'm doing the right thing. Not a single soul clapped. No outbursts, just raw, shared stillness. Then came Ela Anderson. Girl, the nail in the coffin. She wasn't flashy, but she had the receipts. Digital ones. Ela was a data tech for SE Enterprises, Jay-Z's company. She managed surveillance storage across enterprise servers. Her job? Keeping secrets on hard drives. She confirmed the footage wasn't a leak. It was pulled from a private directory protected by biometric login. Only 3 people had access. Jay-Z, his head of security, and one other profile, an alias linked directly to Diddy. That's right, Diddy knew. He didn't just appear in the footage, he had watched it. 2 days after the party, he logged in at 2:14 IEM and opened the clip. He saw what we saw and said nothing. Then get this. 2 weeks later, he tried to delete it, but the deletion failed. The file was flagged. That's the only reason it survived. A failed deletion. Let that sink in. The world only knows the truth because of a glitch. Ela's words landed like thunder. Not loud, but deep. Unshakable. When she stepped down, the courtroom didn't return to normal. It couldn't, because normal was over. By now, the air in that courtroom wasn't air anymore. It was smoke. Thick, suffocating. Everyone was inhaling the weight of what just happened. This wasn't just evidence. This was a mirror, and it was showing people the kind of monster that can hide behind designer suits and platinum records. So what did the prosecution do next? They dropped one last bombshell. Your Honor, the lead attorney said, we'd like to submit a recovered memo from Mr. Combs' former executive assistant's laptop. Just a memo, right? Oh no, baby. This was surgical. The memo flashed on the screen. Simple. Corporate. But the words hit like knives. Event debrief. Media exposure contained. Guests satisfied. Third floor suite cleared with no residuals. Jay's concern neutralized. Security reset. All camera access rerouted via central server. K no longer a threat. A young woman previously seen entering with a group of guests appeared at the top of the stairs. She looked unsure, nervous. She clutched her purse, looked around, clearly searching for someone. Then Diddy's voice, live, not recounted, not alleged, on tape. Relax, he said. You were invited. The girl tried to explain. I was just looking for my friend. Diddy replied, softer. You'll see her later. Come inside. No one's going to hurt you. The door opened wider. Another man inside. The girl hesitated, then stepped in. The door shut. The screen went black, and just like that, the trial stopped breathing. Not a word, not a cough, not a scribble of a pen. Because this wasn't hearsay. This wasn't secondhand. This was Diddy, his voice, his invitation, his lie. The prosecutor didn't speak for a full 10 seconds. Then finally, you've seen the footage. You've heard the voice. There is no more guessing. The man sitting here has been watching all of us behind locked doors for years, and now those doors are wide open. The defense tried to object, but it was too late, too empty. The judge didn't even acknowledge it. The room had passed the point of no return. A juror wiped a tear. Another clenched his jaw. saw, and Diddy, baby, his poker face was gone. Hands twitching, foot tapping. The man who built a fortune on being untouchable looked terrified. You could feel it in the jurors. They didn't walk in curious. They walked in changed. They weren't just carrying notepads, they were carrying weight. And Diddy, he looked like a man already hearing his own verdict. That flawless designer suit, it couldn't hide the slump in his shoulders. His eyes, hollow. His hands, no longer clenched in defiance, folded now, in quiet surrender. The prosecution didn't call another witness. They didn't need to. Instead, they walked to the center of the courtroom carrying a single stack of photographs. Not documents, not exhibits, just faces. One by one, they laid them on the evidence table. Women, different ages, different nights, same expression, fear. And when the final photo landed, the prosecutor turned to the jury. "We don't end with new facts," he said. "We end with a reminder of the truths you've already seen." He gestured to the photos. "These girls may never speak. Some may never even be identified. But the footage tells us they existed and that they mattered." Then he pulled out one final image. The girl from the video. Unblurred. Real. Human. A girl who went to a party for music and lights and walked down into a lifetime of silence. He said nothing else. Didn't need to. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was sacred. The entire room sat in mourning, mourning for the truth, for the girls, for the innocence lost in the shadows of celebrity. The judge turned to the jury to begin instructions. But even he looked shaken. Not like a man in power, like a man trying to hold back everything he'd just absorbed. And the defense? Crickets. No closing statements, no character defense, no wild last-minute save, because what was left to say?